I am Talibita Moses. I am a tobacco control activist. I have been involved in tobacco control since 2013, and today is the 22nd of November 2018. I want to talk about why Uganda stands to benefit from ratifying the protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products. The background is, on the 27th of June 2018, conditions for the entry into force of the protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products were met following the accession of the United Kingdom to the same. This legal requirement allowed parties to hold the first session of the meeting of the parties to the protocol in Geneva, Switzerland, from the 18th to 10th of October 2018, following the 8th Conference of Parties of the World Health Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. This protocol scope is broad and includes a combination of binding obligations and policy recommendations that cover supply chain controls, international cooperation, and offense definition. Uganda has its discretion for interpretation, implementation of protocols, protocol provisions akin to this. This protocol is born from the treaty that establishes, or rather, examples like this are born from the protocols rather the treaty that establishes the East African Community. Such protocols are, say, the Common Markets Protocol. Now, Uganda has neither signed nor ratified the protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products, although it is a party to the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and it has domesticated the WHO FCTC through the Tobacco Control Act of 2015, which is now fully enforceable after having entered into force and then gone through the transitional period, which ended about the 18th of May 2017. Whereas smoking, the banned Shisha, we call it the water pipe tobacco delivery system, is contrary to Section 16, subsection 2, paragraphs B and C of the Tobacco Control Act. Kampala and the other neighboring districts that are urbanizing have been turned into their various incidences of Shisha smoking, and yet Section 16, subsection 2, paragraphs B and C prohibits the importation, offer for display, and sale of the water pipe tobacco delivery system, which is popularly or notoriously known as Shisha. So, and places in Kampala that have been noted for selling the banned Shisha products. These include the entire route of Acacia Avenue, places in Kabalagala, some places in Machindie, some places in Bugolobi, some places in Acacia Mall, rather, Arua Park, some incidences of bars in Entebbe, Ginger, and Busia. So these particular places, by extension, are contravening a law that protects Ugandans from being exposed to tobacco products, especially that Shisha or water pipe tobacco delivery system, flavored tobacco products are banned. So Uganda will certainly benefit a lot if it ever ratified this protocol. Now, the World Health Organization notes that smoke inhaled in a 1 hour Shisha session equals 100 cigarettes or more, and that even after passing through water, Shisha tobacco contains high levels of cancer-causing agents, which scientists call carcinogens. Now, the protocol has certain tools that would be very beneficial to Uganda. For instance, it embodies the tool for the prevention of illicit trade, and the illicit trade, of course, affects Uganda's economy and its ability to rise benefiting from the formal commerce, for more trade, for more transactions. But illicit trade actually robs the economy of all those benefits. Um, and of course, it also controls the supply chain of tobacco products. For example, it has a provision that requires the tracking and tracing system, an elaborate tracking and tracing system, which definitely benefits all citizens. It also it promotes law enforcement. That means the parties should establish and rather should establish unlawful conduct with dissuasive sanctions, especially that any person that is involved in smuggling or dealing in illicit tobacco products, like say another Shisha, which is banned, or flavored tobacco products, should be treated as a smuggler, and that the punishments should be more severe, deterrent to the extent that they prohibit the other would-be suspects from involving or engaging in the same. International cooperation. International cooperation, of course, includes sharing intelligence information, sharing trace of products and the like. So, international cooperation on, say, the technical, administrative, law enforcement, and legal matters will definitely benefit, and that, of course, Uganda can benefit from them the same. Notably, the total direct health and non-health care cost of tobacco-related illnesses in Uganda was estimated in 2017 to be about 41.56 million US dollars. That is the total indirect morbidity and mortality costs from loss of productivity caused by tobacco-related illnesses were estimated to be 11.91 million US dollars and 73.01 million US dollars respectively. The total health cost of tobacco-related illnesses constitutes 2.3% of the national health 2.3% of the national health expenditure of our country. The total health cost, I must repeat, the total health cost of tobacco-related illnesses constitutes 2.3% of the national health care account, which is already overburdened with the cost of infectious diseases, limited medical personnel, and infrastructure, according to the Center for Tobacco Control Africa, that was published in 2017. Accordingly, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime says cigarettes are the most smuggled legal products. There are 6,000 billion cigarettes smuggled worldwide each year, making $30 billion US dollars illicit trade industry. Locally, Uganda Revenue Authority would have netted more than 200 billion Uganda shillings. That is about 5.46 billion from the cigarette trade alone, but only got 74 billion Uganda shillings due to a surge in cigarette smuggling, according to Dorothy Nakawesi of the Daily Monitor, that reported on the 12th of April 2018. So, in other words, Uganda has lost so much uh, in, um, in smuggling activities. So that means if Uganda ratifies the protocol on eliminating illicit trade in tobacco products, all that money would have been saved. Now, global illicit trade, according to the Global Illicit Trade Summit of 2018 that was held on the 22nd of March 2018 in Kaula, conceptualized that governments, private sector, firms, and law enforcement agencies around the world struggle to stem the spread of illicit trade. From counterfeit goods to illicit financial flows, illicit cross-border trade of authentic products to human trafficking and drugs, the damages of illicit trade extend beyond economics, posing in its various forms a real threat to economies, businesses, public health, innovation, and tax revenues. So illicit trade illicit trade is a vital source of revenue for transnational crime networks and terrorist organizations, an important aspect that attracts far less attention than it should. Determining a course of action is of paramount importance for industries and economies to further prevent harm. So Uganda needs to tap into ratifying this, because this would be one way, in a one step in the right direction to try to curb illicit trade and all those other harm that of course are occasioned with smuggling or engaging in illicit trade in tobacco products that of course are known to be most harmful. To tackle illicit trade is to tackle accessibility and affordability of tobacco products, to be more effective on the control of the packaging, and to reduce funding of transnational crime activities while protecting the governmental revenues from tobacco taxation. I am proud of this historical achievement, and also to function as a secretariat to two legal instruments, said Dr. Vera Luisa da Costa L. Silva, the head of the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control Secretariat. With the measures contained in the protocol, I repeat, combating illicit trade that include preventing illicit trade, promoting law enforcement, and providing the legal basis for international cooperation, Uganda shall save lives and improve household income, and then all the money that we are spending in the preventable diseases will all be channeled in other aspects that we cannot afford to lose. I say all this for God and my country, and for purposes of allowing Ugandans to enjoy themselves in the great God-given ambience. After all, Uganda is the pearl of Africa. What makes it the pearl of Africa is not anything but basically because it has all this environment. And tobacco exposure affects the quality of air and denies Ugandans their right to enjoy themselves in a clean and healthy environment, which is given to them by Article 39 of the 1995 Constitution as amended.